Babble, oh, psychobabble. You're out in the sea, now it's fading to black. I threw it away, 'cause I don't want it back. I don't care, it's all psychobabble
So, good morning. Man, some of you guys are like me, early birds. Man, I got to tell you, I'm a little, I don't know. I think it's his favorite time of the day. Ever since, I want to think, I would say from the time I was about 10 years old forward, I was the first one up in my household and among all my friends. I'd be up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. And I had one other friend in the neighborhood that was an early riser. And him and I'd be out doing stuff at 6 a.m., you know, and we'd have a half a day under our belt by 10 o'clock in the morning when our other buddies were just getting out of bed. You know, we'd already been into a bunch of mischievous crap. But it's always been my favorite time of the day. I've never needed an alarm clock. I wake up about 4:45, 5 o'clock, no matter what, unless I don't go to bed till 3 or 4 in the morning. But today, I got up at about, I don't know, it might have been 2:45, something like that, to let the dog out. And I see that Dagburn's live, and I start listening, and I could only stomach about 2 minutes of it, and I had to turn it off because I'm listening to Miss Patty and Dagburn do to Ripa everything that Ryan has done to them. It's like, and the only thing I got to say to Miss Patty is that if you think that, how do I word this? I'm older than you, so I'm going to give you some life's advice. You've been a single mother for quite a while, and you've made some big mistakes. And one of your mistakes was first condoning your son's behavior, and then criticizing your son's behavior, and then thinking condoning it again is the way to fix everything. And all you're going to do is rebuild a relationship on a false foundation that will crumble under you. And you can take that advice and leave it or not. But you condoning what he's doing in order to get back into his good graces, you defending what he's doing to people in order to get back into his good graces, is a fool's game. Because if you're ever going to rebuild any kind of a meaningful relationship with him, it has got to go back to a parent-child relationship where there is respect going both ways with expectations. I dealt with an addicted child for 10 years, Patty. I know everything you're going through times 10. I had to drag my own son out of my house, help the police drag my own son out of my house in handcuffs because he's doing the exact same thing your son's doing, popping pills. And for the two of you to sit there and claim that Rip is the one on dope and Ryan's not on dope is just, at this point, with everything that's happened, with everything we know, with everything that's taken place, it's just absurd. Frankly, it's absurd. It just blows my mind that you think there's any credibility in what you're saying. If it ain't the pupils that are as big as 50-cent pieces, which is an absolute total giveaway, ask anybody, any police officer, any drug counselor, anyone that's ever been around that knows what those eyes are. So there's just no lying about that. So there's that, and then the behavior to go with it. The behavior of turning on your camera and slandering the ever living dog shit out of your own parents to 3 million subscribers is dope talking. That's a sober person would never do that. A sober person would never tell all their fans that their mother is a piece of shit and a whore and is stealing money from them and that they want to piss on their grave. Because that's what your son said about you, Patty. And he said that because he's on dope. And for you to defend what he's doing now to other people, crazy. I'll take a minute and say hi to everybody. Two Lees, appreciate you stomping in. I see you there, Dagburn. I don't know what you're on. All you other guys tuning in, big shout out to Otter Creek. Man, unbelievable what I'm witnessing. Even Ryan has said multiple times that you could accuse Ripa of a lot of things, but lying wouldn't be one of them. And although I've got some serious issues with him, it isn't because he's lying. He's telling the truth. It's just the truth is a really sad story for him and everybody else, because he's not only telling on Ryan, but he's telling on himself. You know, I got a hard time feeling sorry for somebody that literally lived rent free for 2 years and is whining that they've got no money and nowhere to go. And this is 2 times now we've seen this from him. And, you know, Ripa, you got a wife and a kid. Shame on you for putting their life on hold so you could simp on your buddy that's got a lot of money. Because that is exactly what you were doing. And in everything I hear you whining about is because you didn't get given some stuff. You weren't gave stuff. You weren't given the handout that you expected. You weren't given the handout that you were promised. I guess living rent free is not good enough. Eating food free every day, you, your wife, and your kid eating for free every day, that's not good enough. Having a place to live for free, that's not good enough. Getting able to travel around and be backstage at concerts and stuff, that's not good enough. He should have gave you a car and gave you $5,000 for your mom and dad and paid off your truck and paid off your side by side. And we keep hearing about this side by side that's yours, but if it's your side by side, why does everybody else have it? Why is somebody else riding by on your side by side? Because if someone rode by on my side by side, I would stop them and say, hey, give me my side by side. That problem's solved right there, right? That problem's over with. So there's more to that story you're not telling. You've made some deal where you gave up possession of it for something, for some reason. So in your story, you need to include that. But I want to do a reaction to this early morning, this whole video series from Ripa. I just kind of want to do a real-time reaction to it. And you got to kind of listen to what's not being said, but it's being said. It's there's a lot of detail there if you just read what's obviously between the lines. And I sit here thinking today, okay, I went through 2 vicious divorces. Okay, I didn't have the best home life growing up, really. I mean, my parents were very responsible. My dad was an incredible provider. My parents never got divorced. Any of that stuff. But there was a lot of, they worked and they just didn't have time for 4 kids like they should have had. And, I try to think of every time I've found myself in a crappy situation. I have never once expected a handout. I've never once wanted a handout. I wouldn't live at someone's house for free if they begged me. Just wouldn't do it. There's you either have the type of character where you are self-sufficient or you're not. And my first divorce, I walked away from, I was married for 13 years. I owned a home and I walked away from it all, just gave it to her. Everything. Car, house, boat, it, gave it all, furniture, all of it. Just, you can keep it. I just want out. Started my life over and got with the wrong person right away, like so many times that we do, and found myself married to an alcoholic that was pregnant with somebody else's child. And I've had to pay for that child for 18 years. It's not my child, but I've had to pay for it all this time. And, that's a whole nother video that maybe we'll do someday. But never once did I expect somebody to come and save me or give me a place to stay for free or buy me a car or pay off one of my bills, or I've never those thoughts never entered my mind. And it shocks me how easily, and I see it in people like 30 years old, between 20 and 30, 35-ish, that age group. Man, you people have no shame. You'll ask for a handout and think nothing of it. You'll tell everybody all your hardships with no shame at all, and play and pull the victim card at every turn. And I'll tell you, it wasn't easy. That second divorce hurt bad. I was in another state, had no family, no relatives, no support system at all, and was dealing with an absolute devil before daylight, spiteful lunatic that was drunk. And it wasn't easy. Never once did I pick up the phone and call somebody and ask for something for nothing. And so it's hard for me to feel sorry for you, Ripta. I mean, you had the golden opportunity, in my opinion. Okay, you were able to live at your wealthy friend's house for free, just doing some little chores for him. But rent. When you say Ryan didn't compensate you, well, rent's like $700-800 a month, dude. So he's already giving you a place to live. So there's $700-800 a month he's doing for you. What does a family of 3 eat in a month's time? $600-700? Well, he's doing that for you. And Ripta reminds me a lot. He reminds me a lot of my middle brother. My middle brother was a lot that way. He would let people shit all over him and then whine about it when they weren't around. So instead of going to them and saying, hey, dude, I did all this stuff for you, you owe me XYZ, it was do it, knowing you're probably not going to get anything, and then whining about it later to other people. And he still does it. He's almost 70 years old and he still does it. He's done it his whole life. And I would never enter into an agreement where I'm doing something for somebody at the level that Ripta's talking about, and there be no arrangement ahead of time of what the compensation expectation would be. That shit would have been worked out before it ever started. How much you going to pay me? What do I got to do for that amount of pay? What's the expectation? I'm not going to just do it and then wonder why I didn't get paid. That's crazy to me. And So let's do some live reaction to this whining session of his. And you know, Dagburn, dude, you're a hard guy to defend. I've defended you. I mean, you're just a guy acting goofy on the internet. You got all these trolls who've done some shitty stuff to you. I've had it done to me. It ain't fun. None of it's justified. Not one single thing that anybody from Crack Squad has ever done to you is justified. It's all just mean-spirited bullshit that is just wrong on every level. There's no excuse for it at all. None. But man, when you sat and just flip-flop like crazy, you know, you've seen Ryan lie, cheat, lie, smear, slander people that you know didn't deserve it. And now all of a sudden, he's going to try to do it to Ripa, and you're going to defend that shit? It's just, Ripa's just another victim in Ryan's addiction. And you defending it is called enabling. Just enabling more of the same. What you're doing, Patty, you're enabling him again. And you mark my word, and I want you to remember me telling you this, that will fall. The foundation will crumble under your feet. And you're going to be right back where you were again and again and again and again until you say, no, this will not be tolerated. For me to be in your life, these things can't happen. You can't slander innocent people on the internet and create enemies like it doesn't matter. You can't go around generating lawsuits like it don't matter. You can't go around severing friendships like they don't matter. You can't be doing drugs and having these wild temper tantrums and scaring a bunch of little kids to death. And these things can't happen. You don't make excuses for him because now he's not doing it to you. You just think for a minute, Patty, how you felt the day that Crack Squad came after you. Because I remember you crying, scared for your life, going and getting an apartment, scared to death, Crack Squad threatening you daily. I remember all those things. It wasn't that long ago. And now you're going to condone it being done to Ripa. Shame on you. Just shame on you. And if you think that that's the way you fix your relationship with your kid, you're a drug addicted child. Let's forget that he's famous. Let's forget that he has money. Let's forget that he makes music, that he has. He is addicted to drugs. Period. He's been addicted to drugs for 2 years. Everybody knows it. And you're going to condone it some more and wonder why it didn't work out. It's not going to work out. It's never going to work out. Just remember me telling you that. You know, I've been batting 100%. Not because I know everything. It's because I've been roaming this earth for 64 years. And I've been through all this shit. I've seen it all. I've dealt with addiction twice. And it's, no, you don't condone shit behavior. That's not how you fix anything. Not anything. Let me pull this up and we'll do some live reactions and we'll get to some comments. Man, I really appreciate all you guys tuning in this early. Let me set this up straight.
Rode pretty late last night. Got in about 3, got me a little sleep, and I'm about to hit the road again. This one's going to be a long one. But before I hit the road, there's something I want to address. I'm not going to go back and forth. I'm not going to run you in the ground. That's not my style. But if we got to explore while I left the fucking ranch, we can. And I want you to be aware that once we do that, there is no going back. I'm going to leave it simply at, I will not be treated like you treat the people you supposedly care about. That's why I'm gone. Try to leave it at just that. Quit taking the fucking pills and act right. Spend some time with your family. Quit worrying about every other man on this fucking planet but yourself.
Now, there's not every bit of that right there, I can guarantee is 100% true. And, but then again, what do I hear being said? I hear, I'll show you. I won't mooch off you no more. I ain't living at your house rent free anymore. I'm gone.
I ain't doing this shit, bro. It's not me. I made it out. I'm away from it. You keep... It's been a total of about 4 weeks since I left there. And I ain't said...
Hey, I want to give a shout out to Triple T too, because I did use this clip from his video. The audio on the other ones was all messed up. Shout out to Triple T. Go over to his channel, subscribe, hit the like button, hit the thumbs up, all that. Appreciate you, dude.
Shit, I ain't told nobody why I left because it's a sad situation. It's not good. I had to leave my buddy because he's on some dumb shit. He's on some shit that I can't condone. He's on some shit I can't.
I had to stop mooching off my buddy. Okay, the leaving my buddy. I mean, I guess we'll hear some.
Can't stand next to, and he did some shit to me that's so damn red. I could never stand for a friend to do it, especially to my other friends. But hey, I'm trying to leave it. I guess.
Now let me tell you why this guy's going to get no sympathy from me. He watched Ryan do this to Adam Calhoun. He watched Ryan do this to Jelly Roll. Watched him do it to Just in Time. Watched him do it to all them people that went to Nashville to just make a record. They were hoping Ryan would come and be a part of it too. You watched him do this to all these other people. And now you're like in shock that he did it to you. That's what, is going to happen to Hoosier, right? Hoosier's going to be making this video in a year, right here. And then Patty will be making another one of these videos because the false foundation she's building around trying to repair her relationship with her son, who slandered her ad nauseum, is all built on bullshit, of all of them condoning just irreprehensible behavior. And that's the thing that just really is hard to tolerate from these people, because of all people, Patty Lynn knows what a shitstorm it is. She knows what those people went through with Ryan going to his main channel and slandering him to the degenerates that are the upchurch cult known as Crack Squad. And yes, they are a cult. It's an all-in or totally out mantra from those people, and they are despicable. Absolutely despicable.
Calls, yeah, there's videos being posted, there's people talk. Hey, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I know why I left, and I'm very, very happy at the fact that I'm away from you.
Doesn't sound like it. Doesn't sound like it.
If we've got to explore it, we'll explore it. Motherfucker gonna tell me I could take my side-by-side and then not say nothing to me, act all sketchy about it, and then start posting videos about another man's character daily in my side-by-side.
What? Here's what I don't understand, Ripta. You live there. Okay? You can pick up a rock and throw it and hit the side-by-side and the house. Why not just walk in the front door and, hey, Ryan, I'm here to get my side-by-side, just like you said. Can I? Just letting you know, I'm here to get it. Just like you said. No, you don't go get it and then whine because he still has it and you live there.
No, look, keep it. It's cool. Remember when you grabbed me and you put your hand over my shoulder? Bro, we're going to take over those payments for you. I was like, nah, man.
Huh?
As long as B-Loose actually gets my fucking shit right, I'll be fine. You don't have to do that. No, I want to, bro. I want to. Just like you wanted to pay my truck off for my birthday, and I never heard nothing about it.
So, are we there because we're a friend and we just want to help our friend? Or are we there because our friend's really rich and we want to help ourselves? That is the $1 million question.
Either way, you sitting that side by side every day bitching about another man's character. You think that don't rub me wrong when it gets sent to my inbox by people to see?
So it doesn't bother you that he's slandering an innocent guy that was nothing but a friend to him. It just bothers you that he's sitting in the side by side you obviously gave up for some reason. You know, it sounds to me like maybe you were behind on the payments and it was going to get repoed and Ryan rescued it from getting repoed. And then maybe you were supposed to work that off. I don't know. I'm wondering why, if it's your side by side and Ryan didn't pay anything for it, why does he have it and you don't? Because that could be solved by calling 911. Hey, this dude's got my side by side, won't give it back. Then you got your side by side back, right? Just like that. You just call the cops. Hey, dude's got my side by side, won't give it back. But see, there's more to the story, isn't there, Ripta? So we can't call the cops and say, hey, dude's got my side by side, won't give it back. Because the truth is, you made some deal with him and you're wanting him to just give up the deal and give it back without you meeting whatever obligation you were supposed to meet to get it back. That's what it sounds like. I could be completely wrong, but in my 64 years of roaming this rock, no one's ever had anything that was mine and refused to give it back, because if they did, either I would take it from them or the cops would take it from them, but it would be mine again in a matter of seconds. I mean, this doesn't make any sense what you're saying, Ripta. How's it your side by side, but other people have it? Yeah, let's hear the whole story. If you're going to tell the whole story, you know, there's that credibility thing.
Right through your shit. They're like, man, ain't that yours? No, that's not mine. Don't worry about it. But technically, a cosigner cannot just commandeer the primary owner's vehicle without at least my signature.
So now there's the rest of the story, right? Ryan did a friend thing. Ryan did a good thing for him, right? Ryan did more than I would ever expect one of my friends to do. And that is cosign for me to get some ridiculous toy that I don't need. Now, if it was a vehicle to get back and forth to work and I was desperate, I might, and a friend offered to cosign for me to get a vehicle to get to work, I might agree to that. But I'll be damned if it would be for some shit I don't need. Some toy. And if I couldn't afford it, I wouldn't have it. And I sure as hell wouldn't be whining about it if somebody else took over the payments rather than it get repoed. I just, wow. I'm trying to get, if you guys, I mean, if you're one, I'm really trying to understand where this mentality comes from, where this entitlement, this expectation thing, where your friend cosigns a loan for you. You can't make the payments for whatever reason. They start making the payments, so they take possession of it while they're making the payments, and you're going to be a victim. I don't know how that works. How does that work? Again, I could be wrong, and I know that I'm not the only one that has this opinion. So you probably should take the time to clarify the stuff that you're responsible for, Ripta. At the same time, you're spilling the beans on Ryan, because if it's all about Ryan and none of it's about you, you're going to lose some credibility. There's a reason why Ryan has the side by side, and if it wasn't a legit reason, we know you could just simply call the cops and make him give it back. Right? Right?
The thing is, I'm the type of guy that even though you ran your mouth, even though you want to just make a mess everywhere you go, damn, you can send me that title in the mail and I'll sign it and I'll send it right back to you. Because I don't care, bro. I'm washing my hands of you and this shit and all of it. I went back. I spent 2.5 years. All my questions got answered.
See, and this is the part I don't get, because while you were gone, Ripta, you saw what he was doing. He was slandering a grieving family that had just lost a child in a tragic accident. Higher than a kite, with pupils the size of dinner plates, he was accusing a female military veteran, accusing her of heinous crimes against children without a shred of evidence whatsoever, fully doxing her and her mother. And when I mean fully dox, I mean as far as you could humanly possibly dox somebody. You knew all these things were going on. He accused Ichabod of selling little people because he had a purple light in one of his videos. A purple LED light. The default color that all LED lights are. You knew these things were going on. You saw him saying Kylie Rodney's not real. Her parents faked it for GoFundMe money. You heard him claim that the police station wasn't real and that the press conferences were being held by people that were in on the scam. You heard the crazy talk. I saw people commenting to you on your Instagram trying to get your opinion on it. And all of a sudden, oh, good. If Ripta moves back, maybe, Ryan will get back on track and start making music again and stop this shit of using his channel as a weapon to hurt people. Because that's what Ryan uses his channel for now. His channel's not for music. It's a weapon. His social media presence, his following, his fan base, and his YouTube channel is just a weapon that he uses to hurt people. And then every once in a while, you might find some music there that's about a third of what you would expect from somebody of his caliber. And you knew all that. And yet you move your wife and your kid in there to live rent-free and be a part of it.
I'll never have to wonder again what it'd be like if I went back running around with you. I got to see it front and center, clear as day. The only variable was that I became a father and I turned 30 years old.
I would argue that the only variable is it was fine when he was doing it to everybody else. It's just when he started doing it to you, it wasn't fun no more. So as long as he was doing it to other people, you were cool with it. Just don't do it to me. Right. And then the silliness of thinking that he wouldn't, even though you know he's done it to everyone else. It's just, same thing that you would say to Hoosier today, right? Funny, you're a fool if you think that you're going to be an exception when the norm is what we see, right? The norm is what he did to Adam Calhoun for absolutely no reason. The norm is what he does to a group of people that are just going to go to Nashville and make an album. Try to stir up some energy around the game because they're not as well known as Ryan. They're not as famous as Ryan. They're not as wealthy as Ryan. They're still on the come up. And he just had to poo-poo all over it. Like they owed him some obligation. When if he really cared about the genre, if he really cared about independent artists, he would have been down there helping out as much as he could and being a part of it as much as he could. Just saying, man.
The things I learned I would and would not tolerate changed very quickly. You became one of those. Now, Deerdorf, why did you never call my phone? You texted me for days. You texted Felicia. You texted Dakota. You texted people I ain't even talked to or messaged.
How would he text you? I think texting you is like kind of the same thing as calling your phone. I mean, if you won't respond in a text, what's a phone call going to do? I don't get this at all.
Within years, trying to get a hold of me, but you never once called my phone. And that's just weird shit. Like that's just like, dude, add it to the list of shit y'all do that just ain't right. All you had to do was call me. And thing is once I got on a straight shot.
Well, what would have happened if he would have called you? He texted you. What would have happened if he would have called you? You wouldn't respond to the text, but you would answer the phone? I don't know.
Or once I got to where it wasn't going to be a danger to be talking to you.
What? See, that's one of those things that between the lines that you need to pay attention to. And the fact that you would say that, Rip, to me, tells me you know more about the way people are treated than you should know. And the fact that you stayed there knowing that that kind of thing was being done to people says more about you than it says about Ryan. Because Ryan's got an excuse. He's on drugs. He's got a great excuse. He's on drugs. He's making poor decisions. What's yours?
I was going to call you. I had a busy day yesterday. But by the time I got to maybe getting around to call you, I got the word that your buddy done flew off the handle and talked some dumb shit. I'm trying to let y'all live, man. I'm trying to let y'all live, and you ain't going to let me do it. I was held in high regard. Probably still should be.
You were. I heard Ryan say some pretty good things about you at one point. One of the things that he said was that you always tell the truth. Crack squad. So there's that, right? Just saying.
But it comes down to, Ryan, you know as well as I do, I'm one of the only people to bend over backwards for you, help you with anything you could ever.
Okay. See, Snaggy. This is you with your just knee jerk, making wild assumptions, knee jerk, and then refusing to arm yourself with any kind of facts or information. There are 3 known medical reasons why people would shave their eyebrows that affect about, what did I read? It's like 30% of the population goes through it at one point. And there's a skin condition. There's some people that you just have to read it. It's pretty long winded, but there's one that's like an anxiety thing, or it's the same as people that like maybe people that grind their teeth at night, or they have a tick or something. There's people that will rub their eyebrows. Okay, it's like a habit, and you're always doing this, and the hair follicles get infected. You got to shave your freaking eyebrows to keep from doing that, so you can get the infection out. And then, I mean, it's just all kind of. You just have to read. There are reasons why people would do that, other than being weird about a cat. I mean, come on, dude. That's just Ryan trying to start shit for no reason. I thought I knew something looked weird, but I never put a finger on it. But it was the missing eyebrows, and it's been that way for a while. And you can even go look on his Instagram. It was long before his cat died, dude. Long before. So I don't know what you're on. Stop believing everything that Ryan says. I think he would learn that lesson by now, and approach things with an open mind. Don't make up your mind and then look for reasons to solidify your assumption. Look at all the info, then create an opinion once you're armed with all the info. That's all I'm saying. It could, he might have very well wigged out, but there are legit reasons why a person would do that. Moving on.
Never need, and I'm one of the only friends you have that has never touched your mother.
You didn't. No,
That's a sad.
On. Hey, Snack, don't. You're saying it because you heard Ryan say it. You heard Ryan say, this dude weirded out and shaved his eyebrows over his cat. Crazy.
Fucking fact, bro.
And let me tell you something. A feline, like if there's like some traditional feline funeral that people have for cats, like, who are we to judge? Okay, I'm gonna tell you, I lost my 2 dogs last year, and it broke my heart, man. I mean to tell you that English setter, I'm not nowhere near over losing that dog. That literally crushed. I mean, that was, you have no idea. I had that dog for 14 years, and that dog was an incredible companion and just an absolute pleasure to be around every day. And yeah, I mean, so just judge not.
Not to mention the way you feel about the people that have done those things to you, and why in the hell you'd ever keep them around, other than some weird satisfaction on having them on ball and chain type shit.
There, bingo. And that is, and this is for you, Crack Squad. And I want you guys to pay attention, because this is one of those life lessons that nobody probably ever takes the time to tell you. A lot of you guys, grow up single mother, no male role model in the house, and there's just things you need to know. And it's one of the worst things you can do is what Ryan's doing with buying huge, expensive gifts for people around him. That is such a mistake. I know you can argue that it's good-hearted, maybe it's well-intended. I would argue that Ryan uses it as a tool to control people. Either way, that's the worst thing you can do, because then the people around you, you never know who's there because they want something for nothing because you got X, Y, and Z something for nothing. And so where's their something for nothing? And maybe if they hang out long enough, they'll get something for nothing. And, we hear Ripa whining about it. And you never know who's there for you. They're either there for what they can get, or they're there because they just want to be your friend, And I would argue that those people are long gone. They've been ran off. It's like I said before, Deerdorf could never confront Ryan about anything. So what do they really have a friendship that's built on a foundation where there's expectations, or do you just have to tolerate it? Because not tolerating it means I got to find another place to live for me and my family. And then I got to go get a legit job and, get me some legit transportation and quit driving this other guy's vehicles and living in this other guy's house. You just never know. And then overcompensating people, like my friends come help me out for nothing. I don't have to buy them a house and a car or a motorcycle and give them $5,000 for their mom and dad. And they'll just come hang out and help me out for nothing. So.
It's weird, brother. See, I would have been a lot more quiet, but you jumped out ahead the day I left. And I'm going to cherry pick a question. Me and Ripa, there's no beef. There's no beef. Yeah, he moved, but there's no beef. You tried to jump out ahead of this shit.
That's a little dishonest, Ripa, because you did sort of post stuff that insinuated you moved and left. So, of course, people are going to ask questions. So was he answering a legit question or just getting out in front of it? Because it ain't like he just made a video saying, hey, Ripa moved out and he's a piece of shit. He was on Instagram taking questions like he does quite often. And that was one of the top questions coming in. There was like dozens of people asking that. So what's he supposed to say? Yeah, he left, but there's no beef. I think that was diplomatic. He could have said, yeah, he left. He's a piece of shit. He left because XYZ. No, he just said, oh, he left. There's no beef. I don't know. I think that was a fair thing to say. What was he supposed to say? Oh, no, he didn't leave. He's still here. And then only for people to find out you did leave and now he's a liar? I mean, I don't know how you think he was supposed to respond to all those questions. Why did Ripa move out after you made it known you were moving out? Like I said, my integrity is such, I don't care for the shit that Ryan does, the fact that he has used his fame, his social media influence, his YouTube channel, and his money to do shitty stuff to people, and then once in a while sprinkle something nice on top and expect everybody to just see the nice stuff and forget about the shitty stuff. And I got no use for somebody that would bully someone that has no means to fight back. And what does that mean? Well, when you've got a huge following and you've got a couple of thousand people that are, ride or die cult like followers that just don't even have any sense. And, you got a huge social media presence, and YouTube channel with 3 million subscribers, and you go after somebody on that channel using that influence, using that fan base, and all they've got is like 4 followers. Dude, you're puppy kicking, you're punching down, you're that stuff should be beneath someone of that caliber. And you certainly shouldn't encourage your fans to do shitty stuff to people, because unfortunately they do. And they think the reason why your fans are so shitty to people and have ruined your algorithm, ruined your reputation, ruined your views, ruined your engagement, ruined your comments, ruined it all. The reason why that is because you do it. And so when you do it, your fans think, well, Ryan condones that, so I can do it. And dude, you have paid a hell of a price. You have paid one hell of a price for that shit. I don't think you realize. I'm going to guess you probably paid $4 or $5 million to be mean to people on your YouTube channel. It probably cost you $4 or $5 million to do that. And then it probably cost you, over the span of the rest of your usable career, I would say you're probably going to lose another 6 or 7 million by telling your fans to be mean to people that you don't like. Encouraging your fans to pile on. That's very expensive. Just saying. So when you're 50 and nobody wants to hear your rap music anymore because you're 50 and everybody's moved on, you're going to wish to God that money was there, because you're going to need it.
Bro, like, you do everything. If I had to say the exact moment I quit giving a fuck, it'd be hard, because you've done a lot of things to make it easier over the few weeks. But when I was there, hooking up my trailer by myself, I went by myself for the slight chance that you might show your face in that field. I knew you wouldn't, but it was still like, just in case.
How the hell, can somebody help me understand, how the hell do you live at someone's house rent free and you're supposedly their like maintenance guy or whatever it is you're doing? You're his assistant or gopher or whatever it is, but you volunteered to do that, it sounds like, instead of like there be some pay arrangement. And there's no communication to the point where he's got to come outside in the field and talk to you, rather than you just walk up to the house and walk in and say, hey, Ryan, we need to talk. That just sounds weird to me, man.
Hooking my trailer up by myself, bullshitting with Rob, and you're going to have somebody go flying by on my side-by-side. Just to add insult to injury, just to be a dick.
Well, if it's your side-by-side, why don't you flag them down and say, hey, over here. That's mine, man. Bring it out here. I'm confused.
I don't know if it was you or not. I really don't think it was you. Regardless, it's about the moment I realized your neck may be a little too red. You want some red-ass shit. I left the ranch negative. Yeah, I got you to pay my buddy back.
Wait a minute. You left negative. And
that's good on you. You should do that shit, and it shouldn't have took 2.5 weeks to do. But I left the ranch negative $600, and I had to pay for a U-Haul that I didn't have money for. I came home having to hit the ground running. I had to find a place to live with the quickness. I've got rent, I've got truck payments, car payments, and a lot of other things that need to be taken care of. I'm not going to spend my time doing this back and forth shit.
How are you living rent-free? You and your wife, 2 able-bodied adults. You have no overhead. I have never had that in my life since I've been 16, 17 years old. I've had zero overhead. I've always had to work, and 2/3 of my paycheck went to keep food in my gut and a roof over my head. And man, I went without a lot of stuff a couple of times in my life because, money was tight. And, I know, the whole clique of dudes I grew up with, one spring they all ran out and got new street bikes, and it was just one of them years, buddy. Nothing went right for me. I had to change jobs and lost some income, and I just couldn't get one. It sucked, man. They went riding every weekend. I couldn't go because I didn't have one. The next year I finally got one, but I this mentality of I don't know where it comes from.
Any time I have is going to be spent making $1, and any spare time from that is going to be spent with the family and friends that I've lost a lot of time with, bending over for you.
Like waiting on a handout, sounds like. I mean, who puts their wife and kid, their family, like on hold, instead of working on income, working on a career, working on a viable source of money to put a roof over your family's head, like we all do. This isn't like an exception thing. Everybody has to do it. Who just like nosedives in to help some friend for free with no arrangement for income? I don't, man. See, I can remember being scared to death. When I signed the land contract for my first house, I was petrified I wouldn't be able to pay for it. I'm not kidding. I mean, I couldn't sleep. I was getting sick to my stomach. I was scared to death I'd lose it, and then there'd be, we wouldn't have nowhere to go. And, so, and it was just, oh my. To think that you can live somewhere and have no overhead at all. None. And somehow you're negative?
I'm not saying another word about this shit unless y'all want to pull something fucking stupid, which wouldn't surprise me because it seems to be something you like to do, but I ain't doing it. Enjoy your life, brother.
What is up, skins? Hey, I just want to tell all y'all, the ones who are relaying the message and being like, hey, the guy that used to live with you is talking shit on the
Dude. Okay. This is a knee-jerk panic video. And he's so fried in this video, he's got geeker voice. And it just shocks me that anybody took a word that he said here in this video, put any credibility to it at all, because he's clearly in a bit of a panic that Ripa's going to say something that's going to hurt like hell. And so he's trying to destroy the man's credibility like he has done with every single body. And just shame on you people that fall for it. I mean, he is in total geek voice here. And those of you who have been around drug addicts know exactly what that is. You've heard it before, and there's just no getting around that. And then you got the pupils to go along with it. You got the clammy skin, the whole shooting matches in this video. Shame on anybody defending it. That's all I'm going to say. Just shame on anybody.
Enjoy your life, brother.
What is up, skins? Hey, I just want to tell all y'all, the ones who are relaying the message and being like, hey, the guy that used to live with you is talking shit on the internet. I really appreciate it, but me and my wife have decided that, bro, we know these people, right? And we care about Felicia and Felicity. So we're gonna let him just.
If you cared about Ripta's wife and child, you would have not let him be broke. You would have hooked him up like you hooked Deerdorf up, and you hooked cousin Billy up, a guy that's about to go to prison for trying to delete 6 people. Don't sing this song that you care. Because if you cared, you wouldn't be just using the guy and shitting all over him, and yeah, okay, you took over the payments on his side by side. Well, there's no reason to rub it in his face, right? I mean, I get it. Yeah, you took over the payments. Yeah, okay, right. Okay, if he didn't pay for it and you did, yeah, you take it, right? But don't rub it in his face. And
Say whatever
the eyebrow thing just blows my mind.
he wants. It doesn't matter to us. Me and my wife, it don't matter. We just don't want to make stuff harder for Felicia and Felicity because
we don't want to make it harder for him. Although we've been using the shit out of her husband and the child's father, and just making him tag along for fucking beans and tips. But we care about you. Hey, Deerdorf, how you like that new Hellcat I got you? Hey, how you and your wife enjoying that new truck and that house? Hey, cousin Billy, how you and your woman digging that brand new house I put you in? Hey, did I tell you I really care about Ripta, wife and kid? Did I ever tell you guys that, how much I care about those people? Hey, can you guys go out there and just make sure, he's got some firewood for his camper out in the field? Come on, dude. You had the guy living in a fucking Terry camper out in a goddamn field. And now you're on here playing this fucking drama music telling us how much you care.
actually care about him. And their homie's obviously going through something. Like, it's bad enough he shaved his eyebrows off and was like, hey, I did this for Egyptian cats or something. It was weird, but.
Let me tell you what was weirder than no eyebrows. Kylie Rodney's not real. She's really a girl named Callie Ross. And this police station's fake because when I looked it up on Google Maps, all that's there is like a construction site. Hey, Adventures with Purpose is in on the scam because he's saying that the girl came missing in Tahoe National Forest and she came missing in Truckee. Too stupid to know that's in Tahoe Forest. Yeah, that was some weird shit, Upchurch. Yeah, watching you break your headphones because you thought some girl that you ran into on a podcast after serving 10 years in our military was like some sinister scuba diving deleter of young people. I mean, dude, come on. This is nuts.
We're not gonna do that. So yeah, that's why. Also, I want to say that it's really nice.
I could see buying one, not owning a home, but having a home. I hear what you're saying. And I think what you mean is who does that when they don't have a home? Like, because I know a lot of people that just don't want to buy a home because they don't want the responsibility, so they just rent. But they got plenty of money, they got their bills paid, they can buy whatever the hell they want. But why would you buy a side by side when you're living in a Terry camper with your wife and kid? Yeah, that is a very valid question. I would never, ever, 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 ever have done that to my wife or anyone I cared about. I wouldn't reduce the quality of their life down to where they're living in a box trailer or some fucking Terry camper with me. I would feel like a piece of shit, and I would fix it so quick it would make your head spin. And if I had to sacrifice every goddamn thing I own to do it, that's what I would do. I wouldn't run out and just go into debt for something I didn't need on top of that. Yeah, I hear you. Crazy. I don't understand this age bracket of people. I don't. I see it so much. It's so foreign to me because the people that, I grew up with, just these kind of things, you would never see this. Yeah, I never seen him say much. I mean, I don't doubt you, but it ain't like he ever made it publicly known that he didn't condone any of it. Yeah. That's pretty much it. But why put yourself in that position? Why put you, your wife, and your kid in a position where you're dependent on somebody you're not communicating with? And it should have been obvious to Ripta at one point or another. And this goes back to me talking about how much he is like my middle brother, because my middle brother would do this shit. Exactly this. And you put yourself in this position, and then instead of talking to the person about it that you should talk to about it, you don't. You talk to everybody else about it. My brother worked for this dude that did. You see, my dad was a master carpenter, and my middle brother was into that and learned a lot of shit from my dad. He was pretty damn good carpenter himself. And he went to work for a guy that did custom kitchen cabinets, and he'd have my brother come up there and make custom molding, like on a Saturday from like 5:00 in the morning till 11:00 at night. And when he was done, he'd hand him like $30. I appreciate you, man. And this was during the time when gas was $5 a gallon, and he was driving an hour to get there. He was making like $8 for the fucking day working for this dude. And instead of going to the dude and saying, dude, if you can't give me more money, I'm not coming back next Saturday, he just put up with it and whined about it to everybody else.
Y'all are hitting us up and being like, hey, we're sorry y'all have to go through this kind of shit with people and yada yada. We really appreciate it. But hey, at least it's happening to me and Beth and not somebody who can't take it that might shoot themselves in the head or something,
Listen to that. So you never worried about Dagburn doing that? You never worried about Zanime doing that, or Justin Adams, or any of these, lacquer thinner Larry? You didn't care what happened to them people, man. You went to your channel and just absolutely unloaded on them, and then turned Crack Squad loose on them. And in traditional fashion, they went right after them, Unbelievable. Yeah, nobody believes this bullshit, and the drama music is just too much on top of it. Just too much.
It's better if it's us, because we don't care. We can take it. You know why? Because we dims.
We're just going to take it. Well, if you were just going to take it, this video wouldn't even exist. If he was just going to take it, Crack Squad, because he cares, this video wouldn't even exist. And one of the things that I heard Patty and Dagburn agreeing to over and over on Dagburn's live tonight was how it's you defend it. I just can't. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how. I just don't. He makes a video with drama music playing, like a soap opera.
Probably got worse. Cause now I think everybody gonna want to.
Now on up a step. I told you he's gonna fuck up. He likes doing this stuff. Like this, I think he gets a rise out of it. But I seen this already privately 2 days ago. I knew what he showed Billy and them. I knew what he was trying to portray. And I don't even know I haven't seen the original video. Like him calling me a freeloader and all that. I just got told about it. And it's like, hell, on the freeloader, dude. Just the wood I got for you to keep your ass warm this winter and keep that living room cozy, you're in the deficit and you owe me.
So you cut wood for yourself on his property because you're living there free, and you cut wood for him while you were doing it, and he owes you. Okay. Did you say, hey, I'll cut you some wood for $200? And he said, okay. Or did you just cut wood, never say anything about wanting paid, and then just bitch because you never got paid?
But it's all good. There's babies in the house and shit. I didn't mind doing it. You had things in the shower and on the computer to do, I guess. What the fuck? But you fucked up. So, just like yesterday, I'm still learning how to talk with this. So it was easier to just let my fangs hang and tell y'all what I needed to say. I mean, I've only had this a total of like 36 hours now. But since y'all were all freaked out and shit, I'll spare you. I mean, we're good. Now, not to mention my teeth having issues, I've also had issues with another thing on my face for a while. And man, this is so fucking great. You walked right into it, bro. Right into it. I knew in my head you was gonna do it. Now, it's usually the case, but this one, it was a reach. I'm like, nah, you ain't gonna do it. You ain't gonna do it. You fucking did it. Man, how do I put this? Like, there's a lot to pack in a 60-second story here. Bro. So, I understand a lot of people are under the impression that I shaved my eyebrows because my cat passed away. Because I shared the thing saying Egyptians had done that to pay respects to their felines that passed. And around the same time, there was a picture of me with no eyebrows. What's crazy, and this just goes to show you the way it goes. What's crazy is I haven't had eyebrows for a year and a half. Since way before the tour started and everything. And I have about 50 close friends and family that will vouch for that, not to mention the pictures along the way of struggling with whatever the fuck was giving me issues. Now I have a couple theories, and we can go down that route. I ain't got no shame. I'll tell you all about it. But it's funny because my best friend, who I'm with every day and have been for over a year and a half in the same household all the time, did not know that I haven't had eyebrows for a year and a half. Now, some people might have noticed, some people might have caught a hint. Now looking back, y'all are going to see it. You're going to be like, holy shit, this motherfucker didn't have eyebrows.
Yeah, you know, you can go to his Instagram, and there are certainly photos there that were there before. Yeah, this is true.
Ryan's just now thinking that I shaved my eyebrows because my cat passed away because that post and he's trying to grasp at straws. Bro, you haven't even looked me in my eye.
With the soap opera music playing in the background and everything. Crack Squad. He was playing soap opera music in the background. Right?
In a year and a half, dog. Come on. let's be real. Hey, just saying, that's kind of fucked up. You really think I just shaved him off?
This is kind of, I don't know what to say to this, because he's talking about it because Ryan brought it up.
Bruh, get your head out of your ass. Oh, this is how my mind works, and like this is the stuff I really shouldn't say. But I bet you if Adam didn't have eyebrows, you'd have noticed. Like, dude, how do you think that makes me feel as your friend? I mean, like, not that I didn't already know it. Trust me, I already knew it. But the fact that you really are trying to convince the people around you, like, man, Ripa just started getting weird. And I mean, like, don't you see this? Look at these text messages. Don't it just seem weird? I'm confused. And he just got weirder and weirder since he shaved his eyebrows off because he was sad about his cat. Like, bro, you walked into this shit. And I oh my God. See, thing is I'm going to feel bad. I'm going to hit a bowl. I'm going to kind of like ease back.
What sounds to me like the job don't pay well. AIJ covers. He says, I'd love to have ripped his position at Ghost Ranch. I think his position was on his knees. What it sounds like, because it obviously don't pay well. Why do it? Help make it make sense. You know, why would you stay somewhere where you're dedicating, instead of working for a living, you're working for your friend for free because he might buy you an expensive gift someday or pay your truck off? I mean, what was the arrangement? Right. Yeah, I looked to see. Yeah, there's like a couple different reasons why people have to shave their eyebrows. It's like it actually happens a lot. I was shocked to learn. It's not unusual at all. There you go. He did say that. All right, let's move on.
I'm going to go back and watch this, and I'm going to cringe at it because I hate that it had to get to this point. And I still ain't said why I left. Please don't make me do it. And I'm going to try to leave it be.
You've invested enough time, you might as well. I mean, what do you got to lose at this point? You know, when you do this sort of thing, you actually, it can backfire pretty hard because people start making up their own wild assumptions. And then when you finally reveal it, if it doesn't live up to the wild assumptions they made, they feel very disappointed and jaded, and then they're mad at you. So you're better off just, instead of alluding to it, just say it, because people are going to be making up their own wild assumption, and then they're going to expect it to live up to their version in their minds, you know.
It's like y'all popping off dumb shit. The fans don't really get to me. I've been through this once, and I already know how that goes.
I would say it's over the money and the cyber side and shit. I would say that it's all about that, and he probably, someone probably showed him a recording or something of Ryan talking shit about him, and that was the straw that broke the camel's back. You know, if watching him trash mouth people on the internet for no reason, watching him generate lawsuits like they don't matter, watching him you know, do the shit he's been doing and abuse drugs on top of that, if that isn't enough to leave, if that isn't enough to say, man, this ship, you know, is listing, or, hey, this foundation's starting to fall on three sides. Then what else would be? And and I can tell you, when friends, when you mingle friendship and business, you end up with butt hurt, and that's what you got going on here. It's probably, without question, over money. Yeah, they're right. Yeah, they say, I saw that too, where some people do that with their eyebrows too. I don't think that was the case though. I think it was something else. Yeah, it could have been stress. You're right, but how much stress? Well, yeah, I guess you are creating stress for yourself. It's self-created stress, because I would think having no overhead is a big stress relief. Like, if tomorrow you told me, hey, no more house payment, no more electric bill, no more utility bill, no more gas bill, no more grocery bill, just take your money and do with what you want, and all that's taken care of now. I don't think I'd be too stressed. I'd be like dancing and shit. I'd be pretty happy. That'd be pretty awesome. That's a couple grand a month. Any way you look at it. Oh yeah. Yeah. That's right. He is into that stuff. I didn't know that stuff had much value. Hmm. There was a rumor about a photo like that a year ago that I heard somebody talking about. I can't remember who. I was thinking I heard it on Dagburn's, somebody talking about it on Dagburn's channel one time, or might have been Patty's channel. Somebody was talking about that like a year ago. So who knows? Is it out there? I don't know. I mean, if I had something like that, there wouldn't be much talk about my side by side. It'd be on my trailer and be going home with me. If I had that for leverage, I'd have my side by side. So I'd just say, hey, I'm sitting right here. You can bring it over and load it up now, or I'll just post the picture right now. What do you want me to do? I don't know. Of course, I'd never put myself in that position. So I think, that's something you do when you're single, Ripta, is you chase some wild nonsense with your buddy that may or may not work out. Okay. And go on these little bar tours, and party and shit, and live at your buddy's fucking flop house. That's something you do when you're single. You don't do that when you're married with a kid. When you're married with a kid, you get a legit job, legit place to live, make a legit paycheck, legit. All right? That's how it's done. All I'm going to say to you is, I had this conversation with my son the other day. Next time you're driving down the road, look at all the houses you're driving by, and those are people that are doing it. I mean, there's a lot of people doing it, so why can't you? It's doable. That's why a lot of people are doing it. And you not doing it requires nothing but excuses, because way too many people are able to do it. I know people that are really dumb. I know people that are really overweight. I know people that are handicapped. I know people that have no communication skills and bad teeth and bald head, and they're able to maintain a household. it's, yeah, you got to be willing to give up. You know, you got to be willing to work. And when you get paid, hand all your money over for responsible things instead of fun things. And there's a lot of times it sucks, but that's how everyone else is doing it. And there's no reason why you're not doing it other than you don't want to. You don't want to make the sacrifice. Rather than have a nice place for you and your wife and your kid to live, you would rather have a side by side that you have to have a fucking cosigner for. And if that's the case, then something tells me that truck's probably from a buy here, pay here, which the goddamn payments on them damn things are higher than hell. Yeah, they're a godsend. If you really need transportation, but if I found myself in a situation where I would have to do like one of these, like buy here, pay here, self-finance places where they're going to charge you an arm and a leg, I would just get the cheapest form of transportation they had to get me by until I could maybe have a down payment and get a conventional loan for something like a truck, rather than pay them $500-600 a month for a truck you could get a bank loan on and pay $180 a month for, you know. So that's probably the case. That's probably what we would find out. And, you know, there's, like I said, you know, putting a roof over your head, it's not easy. It's just something you got to do. It's just part of the human experience. And, you know, if you're single and only responsible for yourself and you don't want to bother with putting a roof over your own head and you want to couch surf and live the party life with your rich buddy, go for it. But don't get married and have a kid and drag your wife and kid down that fucking rabbit hole and put their life on hold for what? This has been going on now 6 years, 7 years, and you got nothing to show for it. And that, you know.
I tune y'all out. But I got all my people saying, man, you got way more restraint than I do. I got other people kind of like, bro, you really gonna let this kid do this after everything you've done for him? Probably. Because I go too much further and he don't have any more straws to grasp at. Man, he's gonna try to sue me for everything he promised me. This motherfucker promised me fields and houses and cars and trucks and everything else. And I mean, after 2.5 years, it's almost like, bro, do you even realize how many times you told me you're gonna give me $5,000 for my parents and just not done it? You realize how many times you told me you're gonna do A, B, C, D? All you just...
Why would your friend... It sounds to me like you've... The only way my friend would know that my parents need $5,000 is if I went to my friend and asked him to give my parents $5,000. Why are you asking that's a big ask. $5,000? $5,000 is a big ask.
Want to so bad and then just don't do it. Like, bro, it's almost like you're hanging shit over people's heads on purpose.
But Ripta, how does he know your parents even need $5,000? It sounds to me like you've been doing this little backhand thing. Oh, gee, life sucks. Life would be better if my parents had 5,000. And you know, you say it like where you know he can hear it, but you don't say it to him. You just sort of say it around him. Oh man, my parents need $5,000. Man, if you just gave me $5,000 for my parents, life would be good. And upchurch says, you know, and then upchurch, you know, feels kind of trapped in the moment because, you know, he's done shit for other people, but that's back when, you know, he thought that's back when he thought the money tree was going to sprout more money trees and there was going to be like a whole orchard of money trees. And now he's realized it's just the one money tree and it has a short lifespan. And, so, but he feels guilty because back when he thought he was going to have an orchard of money trees, he did buy expensive things for his friends. But now that the realization has set in that the money tree's not going to produce, it's just going to grow old and die. $5 grand's a big ask, man. And so he's just telling you kind of what you want to hear, you know, because he's kind of trapped in the moment and he doesn't want to be mean and say, hell no, I ain't giving you no $5 grand. He probably says, oh yeah, I bet his telling you he'd do it is probably like, oh man, we'll see what we can do, man. Maybe when we come off this next leg of the tour, man, maybe I can help you out, type of thing. And now you're expecting it. And so you're spending this time alone stewing about it rather than just realizing that your friend don't owe you $5 grand.
You found a way to use the one thing I'm good at, and that's working my ass off, leaving people better than I found them, and use the one thing I care about, which is the bettering of the life of my family and friends and the people I care about.
That's not true. Not true. How was moving into Ghost Ranch in a camper with no fucking arrangement made for any kind of a reasonable amount of income, bettering the life of anyone except yourself?
And you found a way to take advantage of it over a very long period of time. Like, with hindsight, of course, everything was clear in it. I want to say I started realizing this about 3 months ago, but tried to give you the benefit of the doubt. It gets hard to do when you won't even look at me.
Doesn't make it too easy to block them out. Y'all blocking blessings. Can't finesse the kid cause I
More things on that matter. First thing, I've seen a few people already going back and looking, which that's hilarious. But someone was commenting on like older reposted pictures that I had black and whited. The best reference point is anytime after Felicity was born. Because I want to say about a month into Felicity being here is when it kind of started developing. It was in full effect by the time the tour came around. Best way to put it. And second thing, the only man that came across, now I mean, many might have noticed it, but the only man that ever said anything to me and asked me about it face to face was JJ. Because he actually looks people in their eyes. And he was concerned. He was like, bro, you good? Like, what the hell is that? I said, I don't know. We prayed about it, bro. And that was way before the tour even started. I get it. It's like, dude, is this even real? This is unbelievable. But I'm not.
So, you know, it sounded like it was a condition. And like I say, there's a lot of talk about your eyebrows, the follicles can get infected, and it's very painful and very, it's just not a fun thing to go through.
I'm going to say it if it's not the truth. I mean, damn, it's been 8 years by now. Y'all should know me a little better. Come on. And it's like, up until the day I told this kid what was up and how I felt, I was the best thing since sliced bread. But now, you know.
Ryan did praise you quite a bit for bad mouthing you now. That's the way it goes. But, you know, he did that to everybody. Start disagreeing with the shit people do, and all of a sudden they disagree with you. It's, man, it's kind of wild. My eyebrows are going to be the topic of the day, but it cracks me up to the core. And it's like, I get it. How would I pull off a 50-show tour, having to be behind that bus, taking care of everything he needs, and meeting fans, and getting pictures taken, and conceal it? Well, you'll notice in a lot of those pictures, you only see me like this, or you only see me like this. What's up, bro? Good to see you. It's one of those, like, I got good at concealing it. I couldn't just stop what I was doing because my eyebrows.
doesn't make it too easy to block them out. Y'all blocking blessings.
If it goes south this time, you can't blame mom. It's between me and you. Bro, I held out. I tried to give you the benefit of the doubt so many times. I tried to advise you against so much of the shit you've done in the past few months. I tried my damnedest. You found a way to turn the most loyal person in your life against you. I still can't believe you've done it. But bro, my friends, my family, they've held their tongue. They've restrained themselves so much. And ultimately, bro, I was just in the middle of restarting after some shit when I went back to help you. I dedicated 2.5 years, some of the most crucial years of my life, back to you, to help you. And you just spit in my face and then kept doing it. I ain't letting up. And you know what? Remember the first day I left, like, you hadn't said nothing to me since that night. Watched me load the U-Haul out the window. Didn't say nothing to me getting out of there. But then the day the U-Haul got posted, you started texting me. And you did the same thing your mom did 4 years before. Where the minute we left the driveway, started trying to dictate what I'm going to post and what I'm not going to post. Y'all should know me enough to know that's the biggest pet peeve since I ever started this internet shit years and years ago. I'm responsible with what I post. Always have been. You won't find no dumb shit in me. You tried to do the same thing. You tried to say I was causing a scene. Buddy, you ain't seen a scene yet. I promise you. You know why? Because you had the nerve. You had the nerve to say Felicia and Felicity's name.
What's this? Pumpkins. It seems Ryan doesn't want to share his wealth with the real ones in his life, like his parents and best friends. That is an odd thing. To me, it's like, that's why you probably shouldn't do it at all. Because, like, let's say you got 4 really good friends, but you only buy a house for 2 of them. You know, that's like, that puts you in a weird place. Because what if they start doing, because I can just picture them doing, you know, probably like, you know, what Ripa did. I bet he, you know, like, okay, so he buys Deerdorf a house and he buys Cousin Billy a house, but here's his other buddy Ripta, or his other buddy B Loose, or his other buddy Captain Kurt, or whoever, right? They're probably like, man, you know, I got to move again, man. My landlord sucks, you know, man, my rent's high. Yeah. Just sort of throwing this out there, just waiting and throwing every hint out there, but saying, hey, motherfucker, why are you buying him a house and not me? And they probably do this. They're probably willing to do this for years. I don't know, man. That'd be just weird. Like, so now all 4 of your friends are all in the same room, you know, and 2 of them. Yeah. Oh, what have you been doing? Oh, man, I was sitting out in the hot tub at my house. You know, Deerdorf says. And then, you know, Cousin Billy says, oh, man, I was out riding my Harley and my side-by-side and working on the porch of my new house. And there sits his other friend, Captain Kurt. What have you been doing? Oh, paying my rent. Going to work. What have you been doing, Ripta? Oh, getting some firewood from a camper. You guys know you're all my friends, right? Every one of you.
You had the nerve to say that you care about my wife and my daughter after doing what you did. Not to.
I gotta agree with that. What a load of horse shit. Damn, playing that fucking soap opera music. We know these people and we care about them deeply.
Mention all the breadcrumbs leading up and the way things were going and whatever. I'm talking the moment itself, what you did. You had the nerve to come on this internet shit, jump out in front of it, try to paint a certain picture. You had the nerve to keep it pushing and make light of it and sit there and like act like, well, you want to act like I'm crazy. I was the lowest.
I heard they were already dating. Just saying.
paid member on that team and the most hard working for you, and you told me that weekly because you couldn't make sense of it either. It was kind of one.
Dude, you realize that was just satire, right? I don't know. I have no idea. I was just using an example satire. I don't know what he owns. I don't care. That was just satire. Just how do you justify you got 4 friends, you buy 2 of them a house and car and a Hellcat and shit, and then you got your other 2 friends sitting there, and one of them's living in your fucking field in a camper. I mean, come on. Just, I don't know. I think it's weird.
Your standing points, like, bro, how are you doing everything everyone else is supposed to be doing? But I have paid everybody. I've gave everybody houses. They all have cars. The only reason you have the gray Hellcat is because B won't ever show up with yours. And dude, if I had $1 for every time you promised me a Hellcat and told me you was gonna buy me a Hellcat,
see, that's exactly what we're hearing here. Is exactly what I'm talking about right now. So because he gave Deerdorf a Hellcat, and B Loose is driving Ryan's Hellcat, so Ryan bought a second Hellcat because B Loose is driving his other one. Ripta feels left out because he didn't get a Hellcat. That's just what I was just talking about. And it's like that people will start to measure their worth to you based on the high dollar gifts you give them. That's why you just don't even ever start that shit. I would never even go there. I would, like, what I would do with my friends, like if I had suddenly had a windfall of money, I would certainly, maybe one of my friends I grew up with, I would say, hey dude, I'll finance a house for you. Go pick out whatever you want, and I'll go ahead and buy it, and I'll sell it back to you interest free. I'd probably do something like that, and maybe knock a few, maybe knock 50 grand off or something. But because I'd want them to have a sense of ownership and a sense of value along with this thing I'm doing, where if you just give somebody something, believe me, there's a big difference in the way you feel about something if you're involved in making the sacrifices to obtain it.
probably could have bought one myself. And you and I both know the only reason I ever drove yours was for one reason. But I won't elaborate.
Well, okay. I think, in my opinion, I think probably Deerdorf's probably like, hey, dude, I'll do that for you, but I ain't doing it for nothing. You fucking take care of me, dude. Where Ripta just goes ahead and does it, and there is no expectation of payment arranged ahead of time. Well, if that's the case, you can't be pissing and moaning. You can't volunteer to do something and then complain that you weren't compensated. If you want compensated, you make that arrangement before you do it. Hey, I could probably get you some firewood, Ryan, but man, you have gas, wear and tear on the chainsaw and shit, $200 anyway. But don't just go get firewood and for yourself and get him some too, and then wonder why you didn't give your parents $5,000. I mean, come on. I don't know the arrangement, but why would you even expect some huge thing?
On that reason. The only time I ever drove that car was for that reason.
And he's probably talking about he took the car to go get pills, or I'm sure that's probably what he's alluding to. He might as well just come out and say it. I mean, yeah. Well, Wow. I didn't know that. People will treat you, man, if you, some of you guys, if you ever take any advice at all, listen, people will treat you the way you allow them to treat you. And everything you do is, how do I put this in words? It's like, you've got to know your own net worth. You got to know the value of your own time. And there should be the expectation right from the rip that you value your time and you value your skill and all of that. Because if you just run around doing people favors all the time, that just becomes part of who you are, and it almost becomes expected. And I know you people have seen this before. It's like you got somebody that's like a yes person, or just doing favor after favor after favor after favor after favor for nothing, without even being asked, and then all of a sudden they stop doing favors. You're going to think they got some burr up their ass, right? You're going to think, well, what's his problem, man? Because you're doing favors all the time became a part of who you are, a part of your personality. But when you did shit, you expected to be compensated right from the fucking rip, right from day one. Then there would be no surprise that you expected to be compensated for the things that you do, right? It's just like when you get a job. I can't tell you how many times I had this happen. When the company I work for, I left and went to work for a competitor. And when I went to work for a competitor, I hated it. It was more money, but I just hated it compared to where I had been for quite a while. I had worked really hard for that company, met all my expectations, put in a notice, did all these things right. And so when they called me and offered me more money to come back, I acted like it was pulling teeth to come back, but I came back. I was really taking care of myself. I wasn't doing them no favors because I had made a mistake leaving and going to work for this other company, because it turned out this franchise owner who had 3 locations had 2 sons that came into these locations and treated them like they were their own and worked on their own cars and their friends' cars and shit. I wasn't going to be no part of that. So it's what you negotiate. So when I got hired back, I was the highest paid manager in their market. And I can't tell you how many guys would find out how much more myself and one other guy was making. There was another guy that was making really close to what I was making. And they would bitch, oh man, I'm only getting X. And it's like, well, how much did you ask for what did you put on your application when you applied for the job? And you find out, well, they put some pissy number down, and then now they're bitching because that's what they got. Should have always put down way more than you expect. Almost make it laughable. Make it so high that it's almost laughable. That's something that Trump is famous for. It's called the art of the deal. And what you do is your beginning negotiation is so outrageous, you liable to get thrown out. So every time you come back, it seems like you're making a sacrifice and a move to meet these people in a more reasonable area, right? And you still end up getting way more than what they were going to offer. But you seemed reasonable because you came down. That's called the art of the deal. And when you're applying for a job, you put down more than you expect to get paid, a lot more. And then negotiate that. Like if are questioning you about it, you can say, well, it is slightly negotiable. I just, it depend on the benefits and the insurance and, that's the hours, Don't go in there just willing to take whatever they fucking hand you. And so this is why Rip is where he's at, because he didn't negotiate any. It sounds to me like he didn't make a deal when he went back to simp for Ryan, put his family on hold again, put his family on hold again, and go live in a field in a camper to simp for his successful friend. He didn't negotiate anything. He just did it. And so now that he wants something for it, it seems unreasonable because you did it for free all this time. There you go. No kidding. I did that twice, and sometimes you got to do what you got to do. But that is, the art of the deal. You have to sell. You got to negotiate what you want, and you got to know what your own value is. Now, if you are a felon on parole with no work history and a couple of really bad tattoos, you're probably not going to have too good of a negotiation. You're probably going to have to take what you can get, right? So there's limits. You can't oversell yourself, but you can certainly negotiate you should negotiate what you expect to get paid, and you should start at a place higher than what you expect. All right, there you go. Yeah, they probably didn't ask for any more. They probably never went in and asked for a raise. The only raise I ever got, I had to ask for. I was never given a raise for just because. Every time I got one, I had to ask for one. The first raise I got, I had to quit and go to work for a competitor and then get more to come back. The second time, I had to threaten to do it again. And then the third time, I had to ask, but I did get it when I asked. And, I wasn't being unreasonable. I was just saying, hey, give me the cost of living and 3%, that's fair. Especially when gas went from, $2 a gallon to $5 a gallon. And you got me driving all over the fucking place. So I don't know what this guy expects from his friend, and if you had a payment arrangement where you said, okay, I'll move back there and be your assistant for X, Y, and Z, and you weren't getting X, Y, and Z, well, it's on you if you kept on staying and kept on doing it. But if there was never any agreement and never any negotiation, dude, I don't know what you're talking about.
Person that ever benefited was you. I don't even want to add the amounts up, brother. I really don't. Tells me, stay at the ranch, hold the fort down for the concrete being poured, all this. Goes out on second leg of the tour, whatever you want to call it. It goes south. Tells me I'm never leaving to do anything tour-wise again unless you're here, Rip. It went south, whatever. So I started rearranging everything for the next few months to be on the road with you. Felicia coming sometimes she'd hold the fort down, but Felicity was raised. Her first 2, 3, 4 months on the road, 5 months on the road. Like, bro, you know how many cities I had to wonder if I was going to get to the next city You jump on the bus and not say a word to me, and I gotta borrow money from everyone around us because I don't know if I'm gonna make it?
Did you walk up to Ryan at any point and say, "Hey, dude, you know, I'm here like you asked me to be. You know, I'm going to need some gas for my car, man, you know." Or did you just, without saying anything, assume that he would just take it upon himself to make sure you had gas money? Because I'm going to tell you, this old boy right here, that shit would have all been ironed out before I left the house. How many people here would pack their bags and jump in their car and go on some multi dive bar tour knowing they have no money and there's no agreement about pay or payday or pay amount or who the hell does that? I'll just go on the tour and borrow money off people for gas as I go. I mean, that's something you do when you're 16 years old. I help make it make sense. Right. Huh. Okay. So Pumpkin says in one clip, Ripta said B. Loose wasn't getting his pay straight. I remember hearing workers on that black house didn't get paid or were paid late too. Well, again, that's where you stop. You don't do no more work till it's fixed. And you go, and I would go right past B. Loose straight to Ryan, dude. We're not getting paid. What do you want us to do? Ripta, hey, dude, I'm not getting paid. What do you want us to do, man? Want me to head back home? Don't do it, and then just go, oh, God, I didn't get paid. I don't know. I'm sure she did. And again, there was a lot inside corner says just imagine what everything that Patty was actually doing business wise, blah, blah, blah. Right. You know, my imagination says she tried a whole lot. And I agree. You got to understand, she's, you know, she was a single mother that worked in a diner. And now Ryan's expecting her to manage stuff that's over her head. There's so many things she didn't understand. That whole business is full of sharks like Be Loose. And, you know, Be Loose is just one of those sharks out there that prowls in the water for people that, you know, get ghetto rich. And none of them knew what to do. None of them knew how to handle that level. And it was a shit show, just like she said it was. I guarantee, where there was just money flying everywhere, and Ryan not taking on any of the responsibility himself, but just dumping it all off on her, and you know, making her the fall guy for everything that didn't go right. And I'll bet it was a shit show. I mean, like I said the other night, you're living a little too fast when you buy a house to play house with some girl and a kid, and it goes south for some reason, and you come back home and you just abandon the house and you don't do anything with it. You don't pay the taxes. You don't sell it. You don't send anybody to go mow it or secure it or make sure it's locked, and you just walk away and just leave it and just and actually forget that you owned it. And so you're getting letters from some sheriff about a house and you think it's bullshit because you don't even remember having the house. And so now they're going to seize it and sell it at a sheriff's sale for a derelict property. And at the last minute, someone goes, "Oh, hey, that's your house, dude. You better get it taken care of." And his dad told me that's a true story. That dude that was posting those pictures on Instagram showing that, yeah, that was legit, man. That house was standing open with grass 4 feet high, and it was a brand new home. It had never been lived in. Ryan moved in it, lived in it with that girl for like 3 months, moved back home, and never went back. And it sat that way for 3 years. No grass mow, door standing open, window broke, fucking limbs, gutters all plugged up. Just, yeah.
I didn't even charge you for an hour of time on that tour. I just straight said cover the gas, I'll go. I don't even want to know what you made on that tour. Not just a tour. I don't know what you make off anything. I've never asked you those type of numbers. I've heard this, I've heard that. I've heard you screaming shit at the top of your lungs. I don't know what's true, what's not. I don't know how much money you've had. I don't know how much money you have. I've never cared, and you know that. I don't care if anyone else in the world knows it. You know it, I know
it. Ryan has done the very thing. That's a good, Pumpkin says, why do other artists, independent artists like Adam or Tom McDonald and those, for example, are able to manage their own life and career, right? They pay their bills, they manage their career, they manage their life. They don't have all this chaos. And that's the $1 million question. They don't have all these people to manage that are, Adam doesn't have 5 people working for him, an assistant and an assistant and an assistant for his mom and his mom's assistant and then his manager and then, letting his photographer live there, even though he don't make videos anymore and hasn't made videos for a long time, still give him Hellcats to drive and let him live there rent free and give him lots of money and buy him all kind of expensive camera equipment that he takes pictures of bugs with. Right. And, he doesn't have, Adam Calhoun doesn't have a buddy that he's, paying for a house, paying for a car, paying all that. And then he doesn't have another cousin that, because he helps him out once in a while, he pays his way in life and pays his wife's way in life and bails him out of jail for $250,000 $500,000. And, they aren't running around, doing shit to people to cause them to, be, upset enough to file a suit against him. Just creating such a liability that nobody of importance in the game will touch you with a 10-foot pole. I don't see where there's any good to ever come from that. Especially if you're saying you want to leave a legacy behind, but yet you're so toxic that they're in a country radio station that would just dare mention you. Unreal, man.
I ain't never counted your pockets, not once. Not in almost a decade, bro. But damn, you know what? I hope you never, ever have to get low down like you put me twice in this lifetime now. I put all my eggs in your basket, be all loyal and shit. Break my back. It's a sad fucking story. Man, all them long drives, all these long drives, man, these long drives give me plenty.
Yeah, you know, I just listened to nonsense a while ago that Ripped is the one on drugs, shaving his eyebrows, not Ryan. You know, that 3 years of dinners, you know, pupils the size of dinner plates and all that crazy talk and the wild conspiracies and that's all just, man, you know, nothing. But, you know, Ripta not having eyebrows, he's on drugs. Crazy talk, man.
Plenty of time to think about the shit. I got 6 hours and 45 minutes left on this one. I don't think you're gonna fare well by the end of it. And the thing is, bro, all this could have been avoided had you just been real. That's all I've ever asked of you, dog. Ever. Both times said, man, just keep it real with me.
So while you're watching him slander the shit out of Adam Calhoun, Justin Time, Katie Noel again, a second time, and everybody else, I mean, was that keeping it real? I can't understand why he's surprised of this behavior when he was literally, when he moved back in there, Ryan was actively doing this shit to 3 other people.
Every day I find out more shit you lied to me about. Every day shit gets a little clearer. You just keep going. Like, bro, the deal with the ring. That's my ring. I earned it. I earned 10 of them, really. But I wasn't going to sell it. I've got everything I've ever had. I keep. Like, I'm sentimental. I like shit I put work into. Like things I earn. Like things I craft. I keep it.
I heard that, you know. And that's the one that really gets me, man. Of all the people that Ryan did that shit to, watching them fabricate from an absolute nothing, just out of the blue, fabricate a beef with Adam Calhoun and then start slandering him and accusing him of all kind of crap, and then relentlessly for months, and then calling him out for months, and then when he finally does respond, you accuse him of being a fucking, you know, stalker simp that won't leave you alone. That, I don't know how in the hell, Crack Squad, explain to me how you're supportive of that kind of cowardness. How in the hell can you defend that kind of shit?
Any of that type of stuff. I'm who helped you organize every bit of that shit that you have because it was in a pile in the basement in garbage bags. All the shit you claim your fans, you keep and you keep track of, that was me, bro. And you know it. I wasn't gonna sell that ring. My buddy, after a long time of restraint in the way you've done me, decided to do a little, you know, you're doing his little trolling. He's sick of your shit. But some of these offers I've got on this thing, man, I ain't never seen that kind of money. The fact that you still ain't messaged me, you still ain't called me, and really the chance is long gone. And even after knowing that Dakota's done been reported by all your people so he can't message anybody, you messaged him and asked how much. Let me tell you something. You'd have to send me 5 of my side-by-sides back. And probably 500,000 cash for me to even consider the thought of that ring going back to you. Minus, if you find a way to get your metal detector out and you spend a couple days, go out in them woods, and you find hers. I'm not saying her name, I told you I won't. I ain't on the type of shit you're on, bro.
Well, I wouldn't blame Adam for that one bit. Not one bit. When you know, when somebody is so freaking just recklessly callous with your friendship and your respect and loyalty, I was just floored by that, because to have, if I hadn't heard Adam Calhoun consistently on many occasions give Ryan praise and credit when he didn't have to, and I heard him do it so many times, that I know it was genuine, because he would do it when he didn't have to. He would still take the time to do it. And, you know, I never heard Ryan say a good word about him or anybody, as a matter of fact. But I heard Adam Calhoun give Ryan praise many, many, many times. I never heard him say a negative word ever publicly. And I think his friendship with Ryan was something that he held in high regard and had a lot of respect for. And for Ryan to then laugh at him and accuse him of being a like same-sex attracted simp or something, for just coming to check on him because he's doing weird shit on the internet and saying things that could get him sued. It's just, man, unreal. I mean, that just, I've never seen anybody treat a genuinely concerned friend with such just utter disdain and disregard. It just was unbelievable to see him do that. Yeah, filming your friends. Who does that? Who takes the time to even think about that? Why would that even be on your mind? You know, and then, you know, stand there and try to, you know. Jelly Roll has the rags to riches story of the century. And you guys can ride or die with Upchurch all you want, but his was sort of handed to him by Redneck Nation. Redneck Nation was already a great marketing firm, already very well established, and they grabbed Ryan's hand and walked him into stardom. Okay, now it was Ryan's talent that got him there, but nonetheless, that's how it happened. Jelly Roll was in fucking prison. He got out of prison on parole and had nothing. He didn't have his dad to work for. He didn't have his mom's house to live in. He had nothing. And now he's standing on the stage at the Grand Ole Opry with his face tattoos and all, and you're going to try to piss on that instead of look at a fellow independent and go, holy cow, man, look what he did. How awesome is that? Yeah. I don't know how anybody could support Upchurch after hearing that nonsense from him, trying to belittle that. You know, I get so, it just almost turns your stomach when he talks about, oh, hard work my ass, dumb luck, awesome talent. And there was no hard work to it. And then the minute there was some work to do, you delegate it to somebody else that you've made dependent on you, like your mom, and just dump it off on her. Oh, I did all the hard work. Yeah, I told my mom to do it. I did all the hard work. I had Rip to do it for free. Yeah. Yeah. When have you ever heard Jelly Roll say a judgmental thing about anyone? Yet Ryan's trying to accuse him of being what he is. Believe me, Jelly Roll set people just the way they are, man. I don't know. Ask him. I'm sure a lot of people would. After everything he's done to people, you bet. Yeah, he would well deserve that. He would well deserve it. You know, how much would Ryan pay for a video of dirt on somebody? I mean, because, you know, Ryan's the one known to collect them. So there's a good question. How much would Ryan pay for a video of Adam Calhoun smoking crack? How much do you think Ryan would pay for that? You think he wouldn't? Get a grip. You know, don't be biased. That's immature, and that's for people that aren't smart. I think it happened when he got money and had everybody kissing his ass. You know, when you surround yourself with people that you've went out of your way to make sure they're dependent upon you, it's hard to tell because you're never going to get any fair criticism from anybody. He's definitely on drugs, that's for sure. Ain't no question about that. Well, my God, all you got to do is go watch one of his videos. It just blows my mind. Anybody who thinks that there's anything other than drugs that would make your pupils the size of dinner plates in a well-lit room or in front of a ring light. There's only one thing that'll do that to you. Stop it. So then you add that on top of the doing the weird shit and the conspiracies and the believe in pure nonsense and the crazy talk and the temper and all of it. Just being like so, man, his ego is so fragile. It's like it's made out of like the thinnest glass. That's two completely different things. That's two completely different things. And there's really not anything about really like production rights. No. There's you either own the masters or you don't own them. If you own the masters, then you're in charge, or if someone wants to use that, they owe you royalties on that. But creative control is a deal you make with your record label about whose songs you're going to record. When a record label signs an artist, okay, they're typically buying your voice. Okay, the sounds you can make with your mouth. Look at it as though it's an instrument. And they're buying that from you. So you sign the record deal and they say, okay, we want 2 albums in 3 years. And we'll give you $25 million for the total contract, $4 million up front, and an additional $6 million when each album's done. And you sign the deal. Okay. In that deal, that's where creative control would be. So you may sign that deal, and if you have no creative control, that means they bring you someone else's songs, typically songs that someone else has written, and you go in the studio and you sing your little heart out the best you can sing them, and you try to turn them into a hit using your voice, and then there's an engineer, that producer, that turns it into whether it's going to be a soft, slow country song or a hard beat rock song. I mean, these are all done by different aspects of the process. And typically, most people would sign a deal where they're just they're going to record their own music, and not take any songs that are gave to them or they would have to pay royalties for and all that. But and that would be the time to negotiate. That's what you would call creative control, meaning when you go in the studio, you say, I got these 5 rock songs, and they're rock songs, and I'm going to record them like rock songs, and you're going to like them, and we're going to sell them rock songs. Where without creative control, you may be asked to do a ballad that, Alan Jackson wrote or something. So that's the difference, but it has nothing to do with the production right belongs to the record label. The creative control belongs to the artist. There. That makes sense. Yeah. That's pretty funny. I'm going to tell you, man, that is so disrespectful. That whole mess that went on there. And I think Ryan will grow to wish he would have never trusted that guy. That day will come.
I would give that ring to Jelly, Struggle, Adam, or down the list of people you've done wrong, and like still finding shit out before I'd ever even consider. I always say that.
But you'd move in, and you'd move your wife and kid in right in the middle of him doing all that stuff, and stay right there while he's doing it and watch him do it to all these people. And, there's nothing, you don't see anything wrong because, it's not being done to you, it's being done to them. So, but now it's being done to you. And so now you're bitching about him doing it to them. But the time to bitch about him doing it to them would have been before he did it to you. Like before you moved back in. Just saying.
Because it might help you. You get her that ring back, it might actually, that might be a nice thing. It's fucked up, man. It really is. And no, like I said, I wasn't going to sell the ring. At the same time, I just dumped everything I have into getting resettled again. I've got truck payments and car payments, acting like you give me all this shit. Guess I gotta get me a new Harley at some point. Guess I gotta get me a new side-by-side at some point. It'll probably be a long way down the road. Cause right
How do you have side-by-side and a Harley but nowhere for your family to live?
now just staying afloat, just staying maintained from the fucking shit you just put me through, well, it's gonna take a little bit. But I jumped.
That Ryan put you through. So did Ryan like send his security guards out that to take you hostage and force you to come back and cut firewood for Ryan? Or was that something you did on your own?
Back to it. I handle shit at the rate that I did this month, I'll be just fine. And I know, once again, you've put me through some shit that you wouldn't survive a day. So much shit I never even noted with you. Speaking of the Harley, bro, the night that the dude pulled out in front of me off the exit and I hit him, about ate shit in a very bad way, luckily somehow came out with one scrape. I had no business even being out there, being in a hurry. And
okay, I don't even know that I want to continue to listen to this part because he carries on about a fender bender. And somehow him getting in a fender bender is Ryan's fault. I don't know. I don't know how that happens. But, you know, he's riding Ryan's motorcycle and he gets in a fender bender, or he's getting a part for Ryan's motorcycle and he gets in a fender bender. And somehow it's Ryan's fault that happened. I don't know. People get in fender benders every day, Ripta. It's just things that happen when you drive on public roads and share the roads with other humans. Accidents happen. Get over it. My God.
to the house, I'm going to get my truck, jump pack. When I get back,
Yeah. So he's talking about simping for Ryan, running home and getting a battery pack and jumper cables and keys and coming all the way back and jumping you for nothing. Did it all for nothing. Left my campers and my wife and my kids sitting on your property while I did it. And I don't know, folks. You tell me. Where does this mentality come from? If Ripta, if you expected to be paid for what you were doing there should have been a pay arrangement made right from the get-go, and with set hours and days off and all that, every bit of that discussed, all that stuff ironed out, because, you know, by God, you're moving your wife and your kid there. So you're putting a lot of responsibility on this, and that's going to affect the lives of other people. And, you know, just from what you've said, it seems like all that stuff was just sort of not discussed and just sort of maybe expected somehow. And to be honest, you know, I don't think Ryan is supposed to buy anybody a Hellcat or give anybody $5,000. You know, if you worked for him, then he owes you a paycheck. That's one thing, you know, and when you have a wife and a kid, you have to be responsible, Ripta. So you have to say, this has to be a legit deal. I got to be paid with an actual check where taxes are taken out, and I get a W-2 form at the end of the year. And, you know, so I can apply for, you know, discounted health care. But when you enter into some deal where you're going to get paid cash under the table here and there from your buddy, I don't know. I don't know how you cry because that went south, especially knowing the state of mind. And, you know, you participating in going and doing drug runs, if that's what you're alluding to, is just as irresponsible as him getting them. So I don't know what you're going to accomplish alluding to that. Anyway, appreciate y'all tuning in this early. We'll do this again. And everybody have a good day. Catch you later.